September 7th and I'm going to talk about time travel. This is a video that I've wanted to make for quite a while. I'm not sure that today is the best time to be talking about it because apparently I either have a fever or I'm sleep deprived and therefore a little bit woo. But maybe that's a good time to talk about time travel because, you know, feeling a little out of sync with the world makes you more aware of the things that time travel would do to you. Or not. I really like time travel, and I've been watching a lot of stuff recently with time travel elements. I'm watching several television shows that are involving time travel, and I've read several books recently that involve time travel, and it got me thinking about the different kinds of time travel and how it all lines up and comes together and how it's all created. And there are sort of, I would say, 3 versions of time travel. So there is the kind of time travel where you already did it and it's already done and nothing you can do actually changes time, because if you time travel back, you will just do the things that you already did in the past, which will lead you to the point that you already are at where you will time travel back. Gets a little complicated in there, but basically everything that was going to be done already is done and time travel won't change the world. This is the view taken in the Harry Potter series. It is not the view taken in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. We'll come back to that later. Another version of time travel is one where you do change the past and everything sort of lines up. But you can have 2 versions of that. So sometimes when people time travel and then change the past and come back, they remember that it used to be a different way, and sometimes they don't. So in a show that Andrew and I watched this season called Timeless, they time travel, they do change things, it changes the world, but the people who time traveled only remembered their original storyline. And so they are discovering all of these differences, and they remember how the world used to be and want to change it back, but only the people who were actively time traveling remember, which is kind of cool. Then you have the type of time travel, which is sort of what I'm encountering in a show that I'm watching called 12 Monkeys, where the time traveling person can change things, but when they come back, they start to get conflicting versions of the past. So they have the past that they remember from before they traveled, and then when they come back, they have this new past sort of overlaid, and that can get stressful because you don't know which is real and which is not, and also because sometimes that's a device used so that people who time travel are slowly taken over by the new reality and then don't know anything different. The character mechanics and things you can explore with time travel are really cool. You get to explore really personal relationships because people who are completely out of sync with their time get to experience different things. And also, I like the predestined formula because it leaves interesting puzzle work. So Dirk Gently Holistic Detective Agency, which Andrew and I did a review of, they use that predestined sort of time travel, and you start to realize as you get to the end all those pieces slotting into place as they time travel, and you think, oh my goodness, I saw all that happening. Same in Harry Potter. You saw it all happening and now it's slotting into place how it happened. That's a cool mechanic. It also makes time travel very neat. You can tie it up with a little bow and be quite happy. Time travel where things change gets a little sloppy. And one of the things I've always found very interesting is that people who time travel and then they change something and then they return and they feel that the world is worse are freaking out because they want to change it back. They gotta fix whatever was broken so the world can go back to the better way that it was. I find that very interesting because if you, right there, time travel right now, and you change something in the past, and then you time travel back to here, and you see something different, but I've stayed here, and so I don't know any of that. I didn't know you time traveled. As far as I know, reality has always been exactly the way that it is. Right now, you're sitting there watching this video thinking, wow, when I first watched this video, Mallory wasn't sick, so clearly I've done something terrible to alter the fabric of space and time, and I must fix it. But for me, this is just the way the world has been. So I always find it interesting that characters always desperately want to change things back to the way they were, even though the people around them are probably perfectly happy. because they don't know any other reality. You can't be sad if you don't know that there could be something better. Then, the person who time traveled is essentially being super selfish because they want to completely change reality all over again for something that only they know or care about or remember or are affected by. And the rest of us are just perfectly happy. And like, we've just adjusted to reality this way. So even though it's kind of sucky, we don't see it as like a terrible life we must be freed from, because there is no other reality. Like, you're stuck in what you're stuck in. I've always found that an interesting dynamic. For the last bit of time travel I want to talk about, we're going to discuss The Cursed Child. So, The Cursed Child is a play whose concept was developed by J.K. Rowling, but was actually written by two other gentlemen. It's meant to be performed on the West End. I've heard that if you go and see the performance, it's incredible. It's a really cool staging. They do magic on the stage in front of you. There's all sorts of miraculous props, costumes, set pieces, all kinds of stuff that really makes the world feel alive in a way that films really can't manage, because you're not actively participating with them in the same way you are theater. Then you have the actual plot of the show. In Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the rules for time travel using a time turner are pretty well established. You don't go back too far. You have to live through the time you travel back to until the moment you disappear, and then you sort of like just fill the space that you just vacated. So you have the potential to encounter yourself as you're traveling, but you don't jump forward, you only jump back, and then you have to live through the time. And it is definitely the first type, the predestined version of time travel. If you time travel, you have already done it. Those things have already been accomplished. You already encountered them. So you're not changing, you're just realizing things. So they didn't go back and save Sirius Black and that changed him. And they didn't go back and save Buckbeak and then he wasn't beheaded. They just didn't see him get beheaded the first time because, in fact, he wasn't beheaded the first time. That's the way it works in Harry Potter. It's not the most exciting version of time travel, but it ties everything up in a very nice bow, makes the rules very easy to follow, and keeps it sort of aligned very well. They threw all of that out the window with Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, where time turners travel you years back into the future and then slingshot you forward so you don't have to live through that. That's a mechanic that frustrates me, but I'm okay with it. Maybe there's special time turners that do that pull you forward and back. But they also have the ability to change the past and create entirely different realities. And that I was not cool with. Because you took the rules you'd established for time travel in that world and were like, well, you know, those seemed like rules, but they were probably more like guidelines. And no one should be Jack Sparrowing things like that. They're rules for a reason, so that you can have an established world of magic. I've rambled enough about time travel for tonight. Plus, I heard Andrew finish dinner, and I would like to eat a delicious burger. I'm gonna say goodbye, and hopefully, if the hurricane stays away, I'll see you tomorrow.